What is up, guys? Welcome back. We got another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show for you today. Happy Sunday, week 16, final four. We're trying to get you guys through one more week here to the championship. We're going to start by reading off some of the player news, actives, and get the notes out of the way. And then if you guys do have questions, comments, fire those up. I will get to those shortly. David Njoku, active. He had been questionable all week. He got that limited practice in late this week, and signs of him playing looked really good, and he is officially active for week 16. So if you have David Njoku, I'm probably playing Njoku, even though it's Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I still think David Njoku is going to be the lead target guy today for the Browns. Tony Pollard active for week 16. Now, he missed every day of practice, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. So he's coming in a little sore. We'll see what the workload is with Tyjae Spears, but good to see Tony Pollard active. If you have Tony Pollard, you can play him. It's a good matchup. He did look good against the Colts back, I think, earlier in the year. David Montgomery, not a fantasy guy right now, but he's targeting a return for the divisional round of the real NFL playoffs. The Jets are going to be without Quinnen Williams today, so that's a big loss for their defensive line. You love that if you have Kieran Williams, and the Rams offense likes that as well. Good news on tight end Zach Ertz. He had the concussion and the shoulder injury. He's going to play today, so big game for him going up against his former Philadelphia Eagles team. Zach Ertz looks good to go. Tyler Higbee, another tight end here. He's back, man. He's missed all year. He had a serious knee injury last year. He's expected to play around 20 to 25 plays. I'm not saying to add Tyler Higbee. It's his first game back. Shouldn't expect much out of him. He's not going to play a full complement of snaps and routes, but good for the Rams to get one of their better players back. I don't think I need him on my team for this week or next week. Braylon Allen will play today. He's going to be the backup in the New York Jets. Tyreek Hill expected to play. And then we have, I think I'm going to hit refresh here because I don't know if I have everything caught up. Let me see if I got anything more. Yeah. And hey, good morning to Brian W. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to look around for a few more player news. I did see that the Seahawks are putting Zach Charbonnet as a captain today, and I think he's going to be the starter. So if you have Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, I think it's going to be closer to a 50-50 split this week than we had seen before the Kenneth Walker injury. So I don't have them ranked very highly. I think I have them both as fringe RB2s this week. So if you guys do have questions on Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, let me know. I want to try and get them in. It's a tough matchup against Minnesota, but I understand. I'm going to read some of the weather. The Cleveland Browns are traveling to Cincinnati. That looks clear. It's sunny. It's 32. No weather concerns there, just cold. The Falcons are in a dome against the Giants. The Chicago Bears hosting the Detroit Lions today. Good amount of wind, 15-mile-per-hour winds, but it's partly cloudy, 31 degrees, pretty cold. The Colts and Titans are in a dome, so I like that game today. And then the Rams at the Jets, 23. That's very cold. 23 degrees, very cold. 10-mile-per-hour winds, very cold game in New York. Very cold game in Washington as well for that Eagles game. 29 degrees, but it's clear. Carolina, Arizona, that's about 40, so a little bit better there. And then it's saying likely rain for Minnesota and Seattle. Buffalo, New England, 9 degrees in Buffalo today. So very cold game in Buffalo. The Raiders in Jacksonville. That one's in a dome. I think that one could be a fun game. That could be high scoring than we would expect. Miami hosting San Fran. That's the nicest game of the day. 74 degrees, partly cloudy. Dallas, Tampa Bay's in a dome tonight, so whatever. And then a slight chance of snow, a little bit of drizzle for Green Bay. I'm not too afraid of McManus. If you have a great other pivot, like I'm fine with that. If you have like Jake Moody or Jason Sanders in the Miami game, like that's not a bad one. If you have a dome kicker, that's not a bad one either. But I'm not too afraid. The Packers are going to score points tomorrow night. And McManus should probably have 1 or 2 field goals and 2 or 3 extra points. Ooh, good morning to David. Good question here. AOC or Mac Jones or Mason Rudolph in a super flex 4-point passing touchdown league. Okay. So these guys are all like fringe starters. Mac Jones has looked good these last couple of games. I like Aiden O'Connell back with the Raiders, and then Mason Rudolph does some nice things on paper. I'm leaning towards Mac Jones being the guy here. If I'm ranking them, I'm probably going to go Mac Jones, Aiden O'Connell, Mason Rudolph. I don't have a lot of faith in any of these offenses, but Mac Jones throwing the ball to Brian Thomas Jr. goes pretty well. Aiden O'Connell does have nice things with Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. So I think it's between one of those two guys for me. I'm going to stay away from Tennessee today. I just don't have a lot of faith in Tennessee, even though I do like Mason Rudolph. So I'm going to lean Mac Jones. He does offer rushing upside too, compared to Aiden O'Connell, who doesn't run the ball at all. You know, you could get 2-3 points from Mac Jones on the ground. He also ran for a touchdown earlier in the year. I'm going to lean Mac Jones here for David. Good morning to Chase. Thoughts on Breece today? I'm not super excited about the Jets offense. It's going to be very cold today. I have Breece Hall ranked as like a mid RB2, kind of like RB17 range. So I'm hoping to get 80 to 100 yards and 2, 3, 4 catches today. And who knows, if we can fall into the end zone, that's going to be what makes or breaks his day. The Rams, their defense has looked better in some spots here. And I would expect Breece Hall, to be mixed in with Braylon Allen and some of the other guys here. I'm just looking at the Rams. They're middle of the road against running backs here. They're allowing about 22.5 points per game. Garendo had a nice game against them last weekend. He just didn't get a touchdown. James Cook James Cook did not play well, but Ty Johnson and James Cook both caught some passes against the Rams here. And then Alvin Kamara had a big game. Saquon Barkley had a big game against the Rams. Even the Patriots backs had a good day. You can play well against the Rams. So I think Breece probably, 12 to 15 PPR points today. Good morning to Harvey. We're starting 2. Terry McLaurin, Tyreek, and JSN. Starting 2. Oh, man, these are some tough numbers here. I am a little concerned on Terry McLaurin going against the Philadelphia Eagles. He had his worst game of the year against Philly, and I believe it was Quinion Mitchell who faced him a lot in that game here. So I'm thinking you play Tyreek Hill for sure. And then the question becomes JSN or McLaurin. I kind of want to go JSN here. He's just been the hot hand. He gets a lot of targets. McLaurin's been riding hot with touchdowns. But if I'm looking at the fantasy points allowed tool, the Minnesota Vikings are allowing the most fantasy points per game to the wide receivers right now. So it is a good spot. And if Minnesota's winning the game, that would lead towards more throwing opportunities for the Seattle Seahawks. So I think it's JSN. No team has allowed more receptions to the receiver than Minnesota. They've allowed the most yards, and they've allowed 15 touchdowns on the year. So good spot for JSN. I'm going to rank them Tyreek, JSN, and Terry McLaurin third. Brian coming in with the DJ Moore versus JSN. I might have just convinced you to play JSN here. The numbers look really, really good for JSN today. I do like DJ Moore, but they have a lot of mouths to feed over there, whether it's Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift. I think DJ Moore is a little bit lower for me this week here. I do like him, but I'm going to play JSN ahead of him, assuming it's full PPR, because JSN's just been the hotter guy. I'm going to hit refresh on some of my feeds and see if anything else has come through as far as active and actives today. Tyrone Tracy's officially active for week 16. I'm not super excited about Tracy in the Giants running game today. Jalen Coker is officially active for the Panthers. So that's good news there. That Panthers-Cardinals game could be kind of sneaky fun. Cardinals need to keep winning to stay alive in the NFC. And I think we're all caught up on all the player news and things that I wanted to go over this morning. So Hall or DK flex in standard. So that's going to come down to who has the best chance at a touchdown. And DK Metcalf has not, I don't think he scored a touchdown in like a month and a half or something like that. So I do have a little bit of a concern here on DK Metcalf not finding enough work. It is a great matchup, but I think in a standard league, I usually lean towards the running backs. I'll go with Breece Hall here because I know he's going to be good for 60 to 80 yards, which is kind of where DK's been the last month and a half or so. I will go Breece Hall in this one. It's tight. I do love the matchup for the Seahawks today against that Vikings defense, but we just haven't seen it from DK Metcalf in a long time here. I'm thinking, let's see here. His last touchdown was week 7. His yardage output the last 5 games has been 28, 49, 66, 59, and 70. His last 100-yard outburst was back in week 4. He started off the year strong with 3 straight 100-yard games, weeks 2, 3, and 4, but just hasn't really quite gotten there. The emergence of JSN with the targets is kind of a factor for DK. I'm going to lean Breece Hall here. Is it crazy that with Geno Smith having that little knee thing going on last week, benching him for Mac Jones, need a floor play? I think Geno Smith is the floor play. The fact that Geno was able to practice in full all week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that is pretty promising to me. You know, if he had missed a bunch of practices and was just limited in those days, I'd be more concerned. But I do like the matchup. The Vikings against quarterbacks, they are stingier against quarterback. They rank 18th here, but they do allow, you know, that floor that you're looking for here. I'm seeing the Vikings allow roughly, where'd they go? They allow about 14 points per game here, so it's not a terrible spot. Caleb Williams hit 10. Kirk Cousins hit 10. I think Geno Smith can have a better day than those two. Kyler Murray hit 15. Caleb Williams hit 24 against them a few weeks back. Will Levis hit 15. You can have a decent day against this Vikings defense. And I know a lot of people are nervous about the Vikings defense, but they do allow points through the air. And a guy like JSN, I think, could be a big reason why. Good morning to Ron. With the weather still expected to be a bit messy, need last minute advice once again. San Francisco or Superflex tight end premium. We got DK, Hawk, Strange, or Miller. Need the best option to beat a strong opponent. Okay, so if we need the best option, we need somebody that can hit 20. I don't know if that automatically gives us our answer. I think it could be DK Metcalf to get you your 20 here. The tight ends, man, like Hawk and Strange, like those guys in a tight end premium. You know, Strange looked really good last week. He caught 11 passes, and his matchup against the Raiders this week is pretty nice. And then you have Hawkinson against Seattle. Seattle, middle of the road against tight ends. I think it's an okay matchup, but I just don't see the Hawkinson ceiling play here. So I'm going to rule out Hawkinson. I think Kendre Miller, he's got the opportunity to get the touches for the Saints tomorrow night, but it's just not a good spot. We expect him to have to throw the ball playing from behind. Maybe he gets there on dump offs and gets a garbage touchdown if they get in close, but I really don't feel great about him. He's more of like a 7 to 10 point PPR floor play. So now we're down to Hawkinson, or now we're down to Strange and DK Metcalf. I think if you see a play where if you think Strange is going to catch 6, 7, 8 balls, then you probably got to go with him. If you don't think Strange can do that, then you got to probably go with DK Metcalf. So I'm going to give you the option here. DK has struggled of late, but he's playing the Vikings, and we like the matchup. I know I told whoever had to play Breece Hall over DK Metcalf, but if we're talking ceilings here and that's what you need, DK Metcalf's probably the most likely to hit 20. But hey, if Brenton Strange catches 7 for 50, you know, that's a quick 15, 16 points. And if he does get the touchdown, that gets you to 20 as well. So Strange, I think, offers he offers the highest floor here because I think he's going to have the most receptions from these guys on the list today. But I think DK is the ceiling that I need. And Mr. Magic, good morning. We need JSN and Darnold to do well. I'm excited about this Seattle Seahawks Vikings game. I know there's a little bit of weather involved, but we tend to overreact to the weather stuff. You know, a light drizzle is not going to really change anything. I'm going to see where Seattle weather is looking like right now because I think they play. Are they in the late window? I believe they are. Let me see here. We'll go to the hourly. So during game time, it's calling for light rain. It's raining there all day today, but it's just a light rain. I'm not seeing any like crazy storms or anything like that, so I'm not too scared of the weather today. How will Spears do with Pollard back now? I'm concerned for Tony Pollard. He did not practice all week, so like they had good stuff with Tyjae Spears last week, so I would expect him to be just as involved, if not more involved, than he was last weekend. If I look at the snaps and routes from last week, let me pull those up. Go to week 15. All right, so last week out of, let's see, Tyjae Spears played on 39 snaps. Tony Pollard played on 31. So Pollard behind on snaps, and then the routes, 27 routes for Spears, 7 routes for Tony Pollard. So they kind of unleashed Tyjae Spears last week, and he played a lot more. Now, Tony Pollard still got all the carries. He had 17 carries, 4 carries for Tyjae Spears. Spears did get a goal line touchdown, which was nice to see. But I would expect Spears to continue to be the leading receiving back. He had 7 targets last week with Mason Rudolph. So I do think he offers a safe floor. He's kind of this backfield kind of looks like that of, the Steelers, where it's Najee and Jaylen Warren. I think Spears is kind of like a Jaylen Warren type play today, where I feel good for 8 to 12 PPR points. If I have Spears in a PPR, I'm feeling optimistic of what I have with Tyjae Spears today. And going against the Colts, we're not afraid of the Colts. So I like the Titans backs today. I'm going to hit refresh on a couple of my feeds and see if I got anything else trickling through as far as last minute notes and things like that. I'll recap it if you missed it at the beginning of the show. Actives today for Sunday: David Njoku's in, Tony Pollard, Tyrone Tracy, Zach Ertz. All those guys are playing today. Inactive today, I don't know why Jameis Winston's inactive, but Quinnen Williams also inactive for the Jets. That's a big boost for the Rams offensive running game and just the Rams offense in general. And then Nick Folk, the kicker, inactive today. Jaden over Kyler. Many people are saying Kyler, but can't sit Jaden. I'm gonna stick with Jaden Daniels today. That's a big game. And I know Jaden Daniels didn't play well their first matchup, but this one's in Washington. It's gonna be cold, but I like Jaden Daniels today. Kyler Murray has looked better, but it's very tough because Kyler Murray is going to either get you 10 or he's going to get you 22. There's really no fine line between what he gets. So he's the riskier play. I think if you want the best chance to get 25, 30 fantasy points from your QB, you probably go with Jaden Daniels, but I think it's very close. Jaden's not a bad play. I do think Kyler Murray's the better play, though, today, is what I will say. I would play Kyler Murray today at Carolina. And hey, no problem, Ron. I appreciate you guys as well. I appreciate everybody today. Happy Sunday. Hopefully you guys get everything you need today, and hopefully you guys are back with me next Sunday, man. The final championship round is next Sunday. So I'm going to probably sign off here for the morning. Good luck, guys. Enjoy the football. Go get your pick'ems in. Go get your DraftKings lineup set. Enjoy the day. Good luck, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace. Got me feeling icy.